life's not fair, and presidential politics isn't fair. You have to figure out a way to win. Welcome back to another session of Ask Me Anything. And the question is from the warning community, if Steve is right, that it is imperative for Biden and his campaign to hit Trump 24/7 for 8 months, is there anyone out there who believes that Biden has the stamina to do that? Yes. I will give you two names, and then I will give you a third group of people. Joe Biden believes he has the stamina. Jill Biden believes he has the stamina. And the White House staff believes he has the stamina. And from what I can tell, anytime they demonstrate behaviors that would lead any normal person to question the stamina, they get very angry and they start yelling, which makes the problem worse. Simple answer to your question is the jury's out. And the president has to step it up. He's got to do a lot better. And the White House communication operation needs to get his shit together like 2 years ago, because it's a mess. And the consequences of that mess are the 47th president of the United States, Donald John Trump. And that is very, very bad. The question is, Steve, what is your opinion of the impact the Electoral College, quote, set up, end quote, will have on this election? By setup, what I think the questioner is asking is the structure of how we pick the president. And this is something that's important to understand. This isn't a track meet. This isn't a race. Events tilt the field. So I ran John McCain's campaign in 2008. Some people have said that even Abraham Lincoln wouldn't have been able to get elected against Barack Obama in 2008, given the condition of the Republican Party and the unpopularity of President Bush. John McCain was running uphill. Barack Obama was running downhill. Too bad. That's the way it goes. The Electoral College and how the numbers are displaced across the states gives an advantage structurally in the competition for the accumulation of 270 votes to the Republican candidate. Meaning, all things being even, it's easier for a Republican to be elected president than it is for a Democratic candidate to be elected president. Of course, we have a Democratic president. So the attitude towards the Electoral College is that it's broken and impossible for Democrats to win is refuted by the incumbency of a Democratic president. But the incumbent always has advantages and always has disadvantages. The mood of the country shapes the dimensions of the field, and the country's in a bad mood. And what that means is Joe Biden is running slightly uphill. And that's important to understand, because at the end of the competition, when the presidency is decided, it's unseemly to look back at the race and say, well, it wasn't fair. Guess what? Life's not fair. And presidential politics isn't fair. You have to figure out a way to win, because if you don't, you lose. When John McCain lost, Barack Obama became president, and the country wasn't in danger. When Hillary Clinton lost, the country was endangered. And if Joe Biden loses, the country will face catastrophe. And the question is, do you think Kamala Harris will step down from running again as vice president? Kamala Harris will be on the ticket in 2024, unless President Biden is not on the ticket. They stay in together or they go together. There are some people who speculate that should Joe Biden get off the ticket, it would naturally fall to Kamala Harris, and that is simply not so. They are a ticket together or not, but she will be on the ticket if he is on the ticket. And the question is there any way that I, one single citizen, can help to do the things that you urge the Biden campaign to do from now until Election Day? I live in Texas. What I urge you to do is get involved. Get online, get involved with your local party, or not. Maybe get involved as an independent. Get involved in issues, get involved in a cause, get involved in local government, state government, national government, volunteer for the campaign, go to a swing state, do something, use your contacts, your social media platforms to reach out to talk, maybe invite people over. Invite people over in your community and neighborhood who disagree with one another to calmly and rationally talk. Say, we're scared to death. What do you think it means when he says he wants retribution? Let me ask you, neighbor, are you ready to put me up against the wall and shoot me in the head because I'm a Democrat? Because there's a significant percentage around Trump that think that's a good idea. There's no handbook for citizenship. It's not top down, it's bottom up. I just urge you to get involved, read, share your reading, understand the history of the country, its ideas, its ideals, its faults, its glories, and evangelize it. The question is how do you think the country would be different today if the 2000 election had gone the other way? The country would be profoundly different today because Al Gore, a Vietnam veteran, would not have invaded Iraq. And the consequences of the invasion of Iraq are something we'll live with for the balance of this century. The result empowered Iran. It turned Iran into a regional hegemon. It unleashed chaos in the region and expanded vastly the power of the Iranian state, which is fomenting war across the Middle East. The war in Gaza is in fact a proxy war Iran is waging against both Iran and the United States. Do you know that there are 168 Americans who have been wounded since October 7th over these last months in military actions in the Red Sea? 168. All of this is spillover from the Iraq War. And it never would have happened if Al Gore had been president.
Thank you for listening to my political commentary. If you like what you heard today, please also consider subscribing to The Warning, daily newsletter on Substack. Our democracy hangs in the balance. The 2024 presidential election is the most consequential in America's history. It's not hyperbole, it's a fact. That is why the mission of The Warning with Steve Schmidt is to help readers orient to the currents that are shaping our times and the unseen forces driving politics that are very rarely discussed on cable news. Please sign up at Steve Schmidt, SteveSchmidt.substack.com. Again, SteveSchmidt.substack.com, or at the link in the show notes section below. Thank you to each and every one of you for listening and watching.